Ah yes, the Bamboo Lab A1, the faster version of the Mark III, the more reliable Ender V3, whatever you want to call it. This video is all about it. And if you just bought your Bamboo Lab A1, this video will be perfect for you. I will be showing you everything you need to know to get started printing away on your A1 machine. Welcome everyone, or welcome back to Pushing Free Will. This video is all about the A1, and let's get right into the video after I explain to you how this video is gonna go. So, I recommend you check out the timestamps. They are linked below if you want to skip ahead. We're gonna look at the setup, what you get out of the box, the filaments, loading them, the options you have for filaments, your first ever prints, and some maintenance along the way. So let's start talking about what you receive out of the box. First of all, you will receive the entire bed plate that you have to screw on to the frame that you see here. You're also going to get the spool holder that just clips onto the top, and you're going to get some basic maintenance tools as you see here. I really recommend using the provided instructions by Bamboo Lab when assembling the printer. This will mostly not take longer than 15 minutes if you're keen with this kind of stuff. Maybe half an hour if you're very new to it. But you're definitely going to do it with the instructions, and I really recommend it. Now let's talk about loading and unloading filament. In the filament menu, navigate to the load button and wait for the hot end to reach the target temperature. When it reached the target temperature, it is going to get you a notification that it is ready to receive filament. At that point, you're going to get this notification and you are putting the spool on the holder and pushing in the filament all the way down the PTFE tube until the motors kick in. When that happened, you're going to get this notification and you're going to see if filament is coming out of the hot end. If that's the case, you press yes. For unloading, it is most of the same. Navigate to the same tab and press unload. Now the temperature will rise in the hot end and you're just going to have to wait. When you get the notification, pull back the filament all the way until the motors have pushed it out of the extruder assembly. At this point, be very careful to not lose the end of the filament because it might get tangled if you lose it. So I recommend just keeping it in your hand at all times and also just stick it into one of the holes, as you can see me do about now. This way your filament is way less likely to get tangled and you'll have a very much easier time printing things. Now let's talk about some material options, the filaments you can print with. There are three main ones that you can print on your A1 as it is an open frame printer and doesn't have an enclosure. These are PLA, PETG, and TPU. They are very different from each other, but I recommend starting with PLA as it is by far the most affordable and cheapest option. And I have a little comparison that you can pause to read or screenshot for a future comparison, but do whatever you will. This is also the point where I tell you that you should probably get an air filter like these or print with an open window because it can get quite smelly. Now let's talk about your first print. Once you're all set up, you can go to the print files section and navigate down to one of the pre-sliced prints. I chose the Benchy here because I really like the Benchy and I think everyone should print it on their printer. Once you start it, the filament will go into the extruder and the print will start. It'll look something like this, it's pretty fast. And this Benchy is basically to confirm if your machine works as it is, disregarding the filament profiles that you have because it is a pre-sliced model. When the Benchy is done, it should look something like this in the video, and if it doesn't, there's a problem with your printer. We'll get to that later. If you confirm that your Benchy looks okay, you're good to go and you can download Bamboo Studio and slice your own models. Now let's talk about maintenance. If your print starts showing signs of weakness, it might be time for some maintenance. You see me highlighting all the problem areas that we are going to address today and how to do it. So these are mostly the three axes, starting with the x-axis. You're going to clean it with a microfiber cloth and then use some lubricant oil, not grease, put some on there and then swipe the printhead back and forth while having the printer turned off. This will keep everything lubricated and make the lifespan of the printer longer. For the z-axis lead screws, move the print axis down and wipe it with a microfiber cloth. Then use some lubricant grease, which can look like this or like this, and apply some evenly up and down the screw. Do that on the other side as well, and then power on your printer and move the entire axis up and down once to distribute everything. Getting to the y-axis is a bit more tricky since you need to move the print bed and remove this cover right here. This can be a bit tricky, so wiggle it a bit back and forth and maybe even move the print bed a bit until you get it out just like this. The rails we are going to clean and lubricate are located right here on both sides, so go ahead and clean those and put some lubricant oil on some spots and move the bed back and forth a couple of times to distribute it evenly. Once everything is nice and lubed up again, put the cover back on and remove any debris you find while you're down there, because it is always unpleasant to have. Wiggle it a bit back and forth until it goes all the way to the back and then snap it in place. On the other side it should be nicely seated like this. If your prints are starting to not stick anymore to the build plate, you can go ahead and take it off and wash it with some warm water and dish soap and maybe even some isopropyl alcohol. Please do not use acetone because it will destroy the coating. And when you put it back on, also be sure that it aligns properly like this. In case you need to open the print head to get to the extruder or the hot end, this is how you do it. You start at the bottom of the plastic cover and remove that with a bit of wiggling. And then you're going to take it off while moving it to the top. After that, we remove the silicone sock and you can open this latch. Be careful, if your hot end was still hot, this part will also be hot. From here, you could theoretically remove the hot end after cutting the filament with the filament cutter, and to reassemble it, it is just everything backwards. So there you have it, a quick overview of everything you need to know to get started on your Bamboo Lab A1 as a beginner. I hope this video helps. Feel free to like and subscribe and maybe even leave a comment. This channel is pretty new and it will help me grow. But other than that, thank you for your attention and have a great day.